Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm really glad you're here. Today's video is dedicated to a story that continues to stir emotions, fuel rumors, and capture the curiosity of thousands of fans across Turkey and beyond. Yes, we're talking about none other than Erkin Şengü and Berrak Arduç, a duo that first stole hearts with their unforgettable chemistry on screen and have never quite left the public's imagination since. Over the years, Erkin and Berrak have gone from co-stars to close friends, and perhaps something even more. Their paths have intertwined in ways that extend beyond just scripts and cameras, and every new sighting or whisper about them seems to bring waves of speculation, hope, and nostalgia. Recently, those waves came crashing back with full force. It started with a few innocent photos, images that, on their own, might not have said much, but to fans who have followed their journey since the early days, they meant everything. Erkin Şengü was photographed leaving the private residence of Berrak Arduç. She wasn't dressed for the red carpet or a press event. Her outfit was simple, stylish, and completely effortless, a look you'd wear when you're comfortable, when you're not trying to impress anyone but just being yourself. What caught the attention of everyone, though, wasn't just her presence. It was what she was carrying. Arms full of roses. Not a bouquet, not a few stems, but an overwhelming amount of roses in various shades. Deep reds, delicate pinks, creamy whites. It looked less like a floral gift and more like an expression, a gesture, a message. One that couldn't be spoken out loud. Paparazzi snapped photos quickly, capturing the moment as Erkin emerged, smiling softly, looking genuinely at ease. She didn't appear surprised by the cameras. In fact, it was almost as if she expected them. But she didn't pose, didn't perform. She simply walked, surrounded by flowers, as if she was carrying a secret that the world could only guess at. As expected, the internet lit up. Social media exploded with questions. Were they back together? Was this a romantic gesture? Was it a thank you? A goodbye? Or perhaps a quiet beginning of something new? And in the middle of all this speculation, one thing became clear. The story of Erkin and Berrak is far from over. To understand the weight of these photos, we need to rewind a little. Their journey began with a television series that, over time, became more than just a show. It became a cultural moment. Their characters fell in love, but so did the audience, not just with the story, but with the people behind it. Fans began to notice the way Berrak looked at Erkin in interviews, the way she laughed at his jokes, the comfort between them that couldn't be rehearsed. And though they never confirmed anything beyond friendship, it was hard to ignore the electricity that followed them. After the show ended, they each went their own way professionally. New projects, new roles, new public appearances. But no matter what they did, questions about their relationship never quite went away. Occasionally, one of them would make a comment that would reignite rumors. A birthday post, a compliment in an interview, a mutual follow on a new platform. The signs were always subtle, but always enough to keep the hope alive. Which brings us back to the present. The moment Erkin stepped out with those roses, something shifted. It wasn't just about flowers. It was about what those flowers represented. Romance, gratitude, a rekindling of something once paused. Some fans were quick to point out that Berrak had once described roses as his go-to way of expressing deep emotion, not publicly, but in private relationships. Others mentioned that Erkin has always been someone who values gestures more than words. Even those closest to the stars have stayed quiet. No official statement has been made. No clarifications. And perhaps that's what makes the moment even more powerful. In an industry where everything is shared, posted, promoted, and packaged. Silence is the loudest message of all. Instead of interviews and explanations, we are left with images. We are left with a woman holding roses, a man unseen but deeply present in the story, and a world of fans reading between the lines. And perhaps that's the beauty of it, because not all stories need to be spelled out. Some of them are written in looks, in moments, in the kind of silence that lingers longer than any headline. Let's also not forget who these two are as individuals. Elkin Sangu, always elegant, always composed, has never been one to feed the rumor mill. She is selective with her appearances, thoughtful in her words, and fiercely protective of her personal life. She brings depth and dignity to every role she plays, and to every move she makes in real life. Beric Arduc, equally private, is known for being grounded, serious about his craft, and committed to staying true to himself. He's not the kind of celebrity who seeks attention for the sake of it. When he speaks, it matters. When he acts, on or off screen, it carries weight. Which is why, when these two come together in any way, even briefly, it makes people pause. There's a sense that what they share isn't just for show. It never was. That maybe, just maybe. Some connections don't need a label. They just exist, and they grow quietly, away from the noise. In the aftermath of the photos, fans have flooded forums with memories, favorite scenes, behind-the-scenes clips, old interviews where a glance or a shared laugh seemed to mean more than it should. People are reliving the story, not because they can't let go, but because it reminds them of something real, something rare. In a world full of scripted love stories, perhaps the one between Elkin and Beric stands out because it feels like the least performed one, the most human, the most unfinished. Maybe that's why so many still care. Maybe that's why the image of roses in Elwyn's arms means more than just flowers. It's a symbol of affection, of remembrance, of something beautiful that might still be alive, even after all this time. So what now? We may never get the answers we crave. And maybe that's okay. Maybe the not knowing is what keeps the magic intact. But one thing is for sure. As long as Elkin Sangu and Beric Arduc remain in each other's orbit, even quietly, the public will be watching, wondering and hoping, because some stories don't need an ending. They just need time. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, made you smile, or simply made you remember a moment that once meant something, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more, and share your thoughts below. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and never stop believing in the stories that make your heart beat just a little faster.